Tuesday, October 11th. Madam Clerk, could you please take roll?
Councilmember Salinas?
Here.
Councilmember Watson?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sanchez?
Here.
Mayor Padilla?
Here. And if we could all please stand as Councilman Watson leads us in the flag salute.
Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 2 is the public comment, where the public is invited to comment on any subject under the jurisdiction of the Lindsay City Council, including agenda items other than noted public hearings. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person with 30 minutes overall for the entire comment period, unless otherwise indicated by the mayor. Would anyone like to address council today?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Laura Cortez, and I am a school counselor at Lincoln. And with me today, I brought our current ASB group. We had elections a few weeks ago, and they are currently in training. So we've actually reviewed the Roberts Rule of Order already. Last night we were at the school board meeting, so they got to see that board in action. And tonight we're here to observe you guys, so that they can see how the motions take place and how the order of the meeting in the process is ran. So I'm very excited. This is a really great group of future leaders, and they were looking forward to seeing you guys in action. So thank you guys.
Great. Thank you. Are they going to introduce themselves?
Hello, my name is Brianni C., and I am president for ASB at Lincoln Elementary.
Hi, my name is Ariana Ione. I am class representative for 8th grade, and I at Lincoln.
Hello, my name is Gabriela Frias, and I am secretary for ASB, and I attend Lincoln Elementary.
Good evening. My name is Hampton C., and I am fundraiser commissioner at Lincoln Elementary.
Good afternoon. I am an ASB member in Lincoln Elementary, and my name is Nord Andrade.
Hello, sorry I'm late. My name is Crystal Vasquez Hodegi, and I am also ASB president at Lincoln Elementary.
Thank you. Well, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Would anyone else like to address council tonight? That will move on to council reports. Councilman Watson?
Not at this time, thank you.
Councilman Salinas?
Nothing at this time.
Mayor Pro Tem Sanchez?
Nothing at this time.
And I just have an awareness for breast cancer for the month of October, and hope everybody is in support of that. And that's it. I don't really have anything else to report. So we'll move on to staff report. Bill?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will be gone Wednesday afternoon through Friday, October the 21st. I will receive phone messages in the evening. I'll return calls as I can. Clint will be in charge of day-to-day operations. Of course, Chief Hughes will remain in charge of public safety. Self-Help Enterprises has been awarded a $5.5 million grant for their Lindsay Village apartment project. A little over $900,000 is earmarked to be dedicated for intersection improvements at Westwood and Hermosa. So we'll be coming back to you once we get some numbers and confirmation of everything. That's where we've had issues getting folks from the south to the north across that street. It's 4 lanes wide right now, and I know we've been working with some folks about different design concepts. So we're excited to be able to move that forward. Once that project is developed, there will be an opportunity for the Housing Related Parks Program grant as well. This should be interesting. My computer's about to die here. So that's happening. Maria, cue the hot dogs. We're going to have Hot Dog Day with the Foothills Rotary at the park on October 15th, 11:30 through 1:30 p.m. They're partnering with Solar City to talk about solar, and I just lost it. We'll take care of things here in a minute. So that's happening. You can see that there. Also, we have gymnastics occurring over at the McDermott Fieldhouse. Classes begin on October the 15th. Oh, good, you've got that one up there. And you can see the sessions that are happening. Session 1 at 5, Session 2 at 6. It should be a really good time. Try something else here.
Who's teaching that, Bill?
Is that Clint's not here? I think that is, I'll think of her name, recently retired from the school district. Suzanne Terrell, perhaps. I know she was going to do some tumbling classes there.
I mean, this is really exciting. If I could interject.
Absolutely, please do.
Is the gymnastics class? I know that. I mean, at Lindsay, even like when coaching the cheerleading squad before years back, it always seemed like we were just a little bit behind. You know, just on gymnastics and having that extra for competitions, and this is great. You know, this is for the upcoming. This is really good. We were always jump behind, no pun intended.
It should help us catch up, leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Right. This is awesome.
For McDermott, the Get Up and Move program is underway. They're in the middle of their first session. Roosevelt brought a great group of 65 7th graders today. They'll have new groups Tuesdays and Thursdays for the next 3 weeks as each school attends, and so I'm sure we'll have some folks from Lincoln there before long. The Harvest Festival is being held on Halloween night, October 31st, starting at 5 p.m. Please come out and enjoy this free event. Oh, you have the Get Up and Move video going there. Shows a little bit of what the kids are doing over there. A little hard to see, yeah. So awesome program. We thank the hospital district. We thank the Chamber of Commerce and the Kiwanis for supporting the session that's happening right now. Good on them for doing that. Madera Sadie Hawkins dance will happen Saturday, October the 22nd. At the Wellness Center, there's going to be a Helping One Woman dinner on October the 20th. So that's coming up here pretty soon, benefiting Andrea Salcedo. Morning lap swim times have changed. They're now open from 7:30 to 11. We know we have a couple of people that are not happy that they're not open at 5. One of the things that we've had to look at is what the costs are for running this. And we're saying, you know what, you bring out 30 of your best friends, we'll open it up at 5. Hasn't happened yet. So the chances are that's what's going to happen is we're going to limit the hours on that. And Tim Krager is doing his monthly program on Thursday, and it's on forgiveness this time. It's free. Starts at 7 p.m. I believe. I'm doing this from memory. But they've had some great sessions happening over at the Wellness Center in support of just health and wellness. And I've got another one here. Let's see. Bear with me just a minute. There you go, Mike. Wrong one. Update. For city services, utility systems, water conservation, city reduced water by 10.97% as compared to 2013. Running annual conservation values at 17.04%. As you recall, last year, well, actually not last year, we tend to do a little bit. We don't use as much water in this time of year typically, but we have had some warmer weather here, and I think that is what's resulting in the higher water consumption. We do have our ordinance in place, and so I think we're okay with that. Utility projects, Avenue 240 Waterline Project. Easement documents are now completed. Property owners will be asked to execute the documents, and then the final construction will be completed. And that's due to the Lindsay olive growers problem that occurred out there. We were to provide municipal water services to the people that lived out there. Many did not, well, several didn't participate until their well started running dry, and so they've reached out to us, and we have a legal obligation to provide water to those residents. The Well 15 contact time project, plans and specs anticipated by late November, so that's moving forward. And the Well 15 upgrade project, contracts and bonding documents have been sent to Telstar for execution and returned to the city. The stop sign request at Mirage and Linmore, staff's working with Tulare County on the placement of electronic signboards, one entering town 1,300 feet south of Linmore and one exiting town 1,000 feet north of Linmore, so people know that it's coming and they don't blow through that. What's kind of cool is Mike's worked out a deal with the county where they're going to loan those to us. We were looking at spending over $1,000 to rent those things and bring them in, so good on Mike for working out the timing and having a relationship with the county. But you will soon have a 4-way stop out there. Autumn Hills subdivision, that's on the north end of town. Sewer and water mains are nearing completion for the new subdivision. We will likely have a final map coming to you soon, and I know they're ready to start building homes. Building report, 33 permits issued in September with a total valuation of $659,000. We collected $16,323 in permit fees, and that included 2 new single-family residential permits. Plainview Sewer Project, the county has been corresponding very, very vigorously with your staff on this. I know I've sent in a Friday update. Our position is exactly the same. We have the capacity to provide sewer service to Plainview. We are in favor of doing this at the staff level. It's the right thing to do if they can't, handle their own effluent. However, there are all kinds of strings attached. The first string that we look at is the system, the program has to be sustainable. We know that it can be built. They're going to chase grant monies for this. But the collection of revenues is really, really key. And they're showing right now an average family income of about $15,500. And the latest figures we have is the sewer service is going to cost over $50 a month. That's a lot of money for a family making only $15,500 in the course of a year. Your staff doesn't want to be out there knocking on doors collecting money. We're not going to do that. And so where we provide services currently to El Rancho and to, help me out, thank you, Tonyville. We provide that. The county's provided a zone of benefit out there. What does that mean? That means that we know how many services are being provided, and the county sends us a check every month for that number of services. It's up to the county. It's in their jurisdiction. It's up to the county to collect that money, and they provide it to us. Staff has suggested they do something similar down there. They've been very reluctant to do it because they have to go out there and knock on the doors. Bottom line is it's in the county's jurisdiction. It's not in our jurisdiction. So our message to the county has not changed. They're asking us for some form of resolution. It's not going to happen now, but probably if not the next meeting, probably in all likelihood the following meeting, staff will provide a report for you and some recommendations about the conditions that they should have to meet in order to provide that service. And as a reminder, we also said we'd like a Me Too component for our Pagemore tract. Pagemore is in the county's jurisdiction. Right. But we are providing municipal water to Pagemore, so we are billing out there. We wouldn't have a problem with billing that so long as the county makes arrangements to get the system installed and connected and so forth. And we talked about water, not water, but sidewalks and lights and so forth, so that it's a proper part of the city. I mean, the residents are already part of town, but they're out there, kind of the stepchildren, and we'd like to bring them in, and this would be a good opportunity for the county to do the right thing and help Pagemore come into the city by providing those services. And then the final thing that we request from the county is help us find supplemental water. Our primary water is coming from the canal. As you know, they're talking about limiting the amount of water that's coming down the canal even more than is happening now. Fresno and some other municipalities and users have filed a lawsuit against Bryant because they want to release more water into the San Joaquin. That impacts us if they do. Right. So we need other sources of supplemental water, and the county, at least verbally, is willing to help us pursue that. So those would be the things. The revenues need to be sustainable in perpetuity. There should be a Me Too component for Pagemore, and they should help us find supplemental water so there's something in it for us to get into this deal. Because we have no obligation to Plainview, just it's the right thing to do if we can make those things work. So if you hear anything else, it's not coming from us.
Do you know how soon that they anticipate that?
Well, they would. No, I don't. It was urgent November, December last year, and it had to happen right away. And it was urgent in June. It's urgent again. I don't know. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. With item 5, we have the consent calendar. These items are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion unless separate discussion is requested by council or members of the public. Request for the approval of the following. A, the meeting minutes for September 27, 2016. B is a warrant list for September 22nd, 2016. C is the acceptance of September 30th, 2016 Treasurer's Report. D is the acceptance of the maintenance of effort can't even say that word today. Certification report for the Public Safety Department. And E is the audit engagement letter for Brown Armstrong Accountancy Corporation. What action would we like to take on this?
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes 4-0. Thank you. 6 is a public hearing. It's a consideration of resolution 1646, approving variance for accessory structure at 1182 North Homicide. Today will be presented by Bill. Bill?
I'll catch up with you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, no worries. I forgot that your computer
We're plugged in.
is-
It'll just take it a second here.
Great, sure. Certification.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Council. Variance number 1630 is a request by Ivan Tapia for a variance to the maximum building height for accessory structures to permit an existing 11-foot, 4-inch tall accessory structure for property located at 1182 North Homicide in the R17 zoning district. The existing accessory structure is situated on the southeast corner of the property and is 225 square feet in size. For building standards, this size structure would require a building permit should council approve the variance. The existing accessory structure encroaches above the maximum accessory structure building height limitation by 4 feet 4 inches. The maximum building height for accessory structures is 7 feet, thus the increase would be required. Go ahead and pull up the photo there, Maria. So this is one of several that council has seen in the past few years. See the location there in the zoning map at the north end of town. Continue. And you can see that the fellow actually took pictures while he was building it. He just didn't know that it was going to be out of conformance. And you can see it's a quality built construction. Continue to scroll down. Continue. And he's got a roll-up door on it. He's going to keep quads and things in there. In fact, he may even have a picture of it. Scroll down some more. A little hard to see there. So we have the existing ordinance in town that's limited to 7 feet, and I've directed the assistant planner to see what other communities are doing for their accessory structure heights and gazebo heights, and then we'll bring some recommendations to council to see if you want to leave it where it is, in which case when you do these you would have the variance, or if you want to permit them by right. It looks like it's a well-built accessory structure. We have no issues with it. There are others that exist within the community, so you're not granting any special privilege to this individual. We would only say as part of the resolution that it be maintained in good standards to keep the use permit. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, council members, before I open it for public hearing?
Shouldn't that have happened before it was built?
It would. He didn't know. He didn't know that he wasn't in conformance.
I see.
Because in other places, you'll see other communities, you'll see structures that tall. He didn't know that he was in violation. Which is what we typically run into. Someone will have built the thing, we catch it driving by to look at something else, we red tag it, and we see they weren't up to anything. I mean, you can see he did a good job of building it. He wasn't trying to sneak anything through. He just didn't know.
Does it have electricity or is it just like
I think that one's going to have electricity but no water.
I think there's light already on there. Did you see the light?
Oh, no, I don't know.
And if council approves it, it'll require an inspection by the building inspector to ensure it's all in conformance. If council says no, it comes down.
Any questions for Bill before I open public hearing?
Does it, on the height and the size of it, is there a specific height and width that when they built that you have to have a permit? I mean,
the building permit gets triggered by the square footage over 120, Mike. When it's over 120 square feet, they're supposed to pull a building permit. The height is not a trigger.
But he has a permit.
He has to. Getting a permit. The building inspector went by, saw it, red tagged it, which is you stop everything. And then we saw the pictures and he approached us. I didn't know. I want to make this right. I want to do it right. So everything's kind of on hold pending council's decision. If council says no, it either comes down or he figures out some way to make it 7 feet. He won't be able to make it 7 feet. But by virtue of it being, it's over 200 square feet, like 240 square feet, it would require a building permit and a full building inspection. So, you know, these things happen in the backyard. They fly under the radar unless we get a neighbor that calls us or we're out there inspecting something else, say in a newer subdivision where things are happening. That's oftentimes how we find them is someone sees one go up. They think, I'd like something that big. So they build one and we go out to inspect a different job. We say, you know, that wasn't there, you know, last week. And then red tag them when we come to council.
Because there is a specific size before, how would I say it, that you can move, right?
It'd still be 7 feet tall. I mean, you couldn't, by our current regulation, it couldn't be any taller than 7 feet. Even if you bought it from Lowe's or someplace, it wouldn't be permitted.
Oh, okay.
Not by right. By a variance, yes. By this process, yes.
Well, as long as he's willing to pay the permit fee and, you know, all that, I don't see any problem with it.
Any further questions for Bill? Okay, I'm going to open up public hearing for those in favor of Resolution 1646. Public hearing is now open. Those against it? Okay, I'll bring it back to council and I'll close public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. Bring it back to council for any further questions.
I have one more. For him building it, is there a penalty for that, or is it just you pay the permit and he's okay? Or
we could penalize him for that. We could penalize him with a compliance inspection, but staff's recommendation is that we not do that because we don't believe that there was any malice intended here. It's too easy to do the right way. He simply didn't know. So we don't intend to impose a penalty unless you guys direct us to do something like that.
Well, he's paid the variance, or to get the variance to this point. So I mean, he's
and public
he's
hearing
doing it the
noticing
right way as soon as he figured it out.
Yeah.
You know that he didn't realize that he was doing it wrong. Yeah. I agree with us looking at it again and making sure we can change. I think everything's changing. So as long as they're building a quality product,
right?
You know, I don't see anything wrong with it.
And when we do the ordinance, we can put whatever caveats in there that council wants. But again, the benefit in being connected to other communities, council of city and those different organizations as we can quickly see how other communities are doing it. We're not at the front of the parade because we're a small town, and that's okay. We can see how they're doing it. It'll have legal standing, and we can bring it in here.
Any further questions? Okay, what action would we like to take on Resolution 1646?
Move for approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk, could you please take roll?
Councilmember Salinas?
Aye.
Councilmember Watson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sanchez?
Aye.
Mayor Padilla?
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, Bill. Consideration of Resolution 1648, accepting the gift of real property described as APN 199-200-028 and 199-140-048. Presented by Bill. Bill?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Maria, please go to the map and then the aerial. Map first. Okay, the aerial's fine. You can leave it there for the time being. So David Stone approached the city regarding gifting approximately 3 acres of real property owned by his family to the city. The subject property is located approximately 175 feet north of West Hermosa Street and 666 feet east of State Route 65, adjacent to the Burger King, Country Waffle, and Super 8 Motel. And you can see the aerial there where it's located, vacant land. Back in the day, it looked like it had a ranch or a farm on it. We saw some pictures, and you could see the old structures that were there. The gift of property was discussed with council, at which time a preliminary title report was obtained and a Phase 1 environmental inspection was requested. Both reports have been reviewed and are favorable and without negative conditions or clouds on the title. Accepting the gift of real property would cost the city nothing other than the money spent on the aforementioned reports and processing recordation of deed transfer documents with the county. The agreement for donation of real property, which is attached, was reviewed by the city attorney and stipulates that the property cannot be sold for 3 years in compliance with IRS rules that protect the donor of the property, but it imposes no other conditions regarding use or sale. And the preliminary title report, Phase 1 environmental inspection, and recorded easements restriction documents are available for council and the public review if desired. It was well over 100 pages. I put it on here and I thought, we don't need to do that unless you guys want to dig a little deeper. This is not time sensitive if you want more information or anything with that. So the acceptance of real property gifted by the Stone family is not a project per CEQA, per California Public Records Code section 21065, and is therefore exempt from CEQA. And then it's described in the staff report how that is done. Staff recommends that council adopt the attached resolution to accept by a gift deed the real property as described in the resolution, authorize the city manager to sign all necessary documents to accomplish said acceptance, and direct staff to record the gift deed with the County of Tulare. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Scroll up to the zoning map there, and you can see how it's located. It's a little hard to point out there, but it's that southern odd-shaped fuchsia property, and then the green property is adjacent to our ponding basin. There are easements that connect it to the properties to the south, and there's an easement going to the north along our ponding basin as well. So it's ripe for highway commercial development, or really most anything else that's suitable for the area. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Oh, Bill or Mario, so sale 3 years to protect the tax-exempt charitable contribution. What about a lease?
Perfectly fine. Anything else is basically okay, including a lease option. So if somebody came to you today and said, "Hey, I want to buy this," we could say, "Hey, we can't sell it to you right now, but we'll enter into a lease option. You'll lease it for 3 years, and then you'll have the option to buy it at the conclusion of that."
And then you say we have 2 easements?
You have at least 3.
3, okay.
Yeah.
So there would be no issue for a developer to come in and say they wanted to develop another motel, hotel, whatever, something.
Scroll back to the aerial, please. In a perfect world, I think it would be a very important interest to the owner of the Super 8, very important interest to the person who owns the Country Waffle. As you recall, he wanted to develop a subway in that tiny triangle-shaped piece. That would be much, the tiny triangle-shaped piece there, he wanted to do a drive-through, and he could easily connect going east from the Country Waffle and do something substantial there, or most anything else. So there, I think, is great development opportunity, especially for those that are adjacent to it.
Okay. I think it's a valuable asset for the city.
Absolutely. Any further questions for Bill? What action would we like to take on Resolution 1648?
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, could you please take roll?
Councilmember Watson?
Aye.
Councilmember Salinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sanchez?
Aye.
Mayor Padilla?
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you.
Mayor, there's also a couple other items on that. We do need a
Oh,
motion
with the other
for the city manager
the APN?
No, just for the city manager to sign, the council giving approval for the city manager to sign and to record the deeds.
Oh. Okay. It didn't have it on there, but I understand. Okay, so what motion would we like to take to give Bill the full right to sign any documents?
Yeah, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is that one a roll call as well?
Yes.
Okay. Madam Clerk, could you please take roll?
Councilmember Watson?
Aye.
Councilmember Salinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sanchez?
Aye.
Mayor Padilla?
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 8 is the request to research costs of placing a flag at Highway 65 and Hermosa. Today's presented by Councilman Watson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is an idea that we've talked to a few veterans groups about, that they're very excited. Many people that I've talked to are kind of excited about this possibility of the grassy knoll in front of Burger King and AM/PM being able to get the permission from the state of California, who I believe is the owner of that, and being able to place on it a very nice American flag, a large American flag. I mean, we are the All-American City. We received that designation 20 years ago, and we have the freeway portion, All-American freeway or highway, so it just kind of seems appropriate to be able to put something like that on there, and as a way to just improve the overall appearance of that important intersection. We do have some other ideas too, but to help make a better presentation as people are driving by to, that, to what the city, but this is certainly something that would definitely stand out, set us apart, and I think we could get a number of veterans groups involved. I've talked to one person who's on the board of our local memorial building, and he has people already that are interested in coming over, helping to pour the foundation, for this, contractors who are veterans who are very excited about it. But we need to get the permission from the state, and I have no idea what that will entail, but I know Bill and his staff will ferret out all that information, and then be able to produce a cost for us, so we'll know what to solicit for, because given our current budget situation, the city doesn't have a lot to contribute, but I know maybe we can find something, but I'm guessing that the majority of the cost will be in volunteer labor, volunteer materials, and then the cost of the pole, the cost of the flag. Yeah, so.
Is there a reason why you'd like it on the north side?
Well, I think it stands up. Certainly, it's the highest point of the four corners. And
the only reason I'm asking is with our budget the way it is, but if we were to get the groups to pay for it, we own the property where the Lindsay sign is.
That is. There's
electricity there.
There's a very good point.
Everything there.
Yes.
And all we have to get the okay from is the 5 up here. Staff is going to run with it. But as far as paying staff time to talk to Caltrans and to go, Caltrans isn't easy. We've dealt with them, for many years.
How you can't do things.
Right.
Love the project.
Yeah.
But we own the property. The city owns the property.
Right. That is a good point.
It's a win-win on that side.
Yeah.
We can go through all the motions and then still say no. Then we got all our staff time involved, all of your time, all of the veterans' time.
Yeah. No, that is a very good point.
So if we were able to get the veteran or the groups that do want to pay for it, because there's plenty of volunteers, we can get volunteers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then just run that route.
Yeah. As we had talked a little bit about possibly developing the Lindsay sign, increasing it, possibly putting a digital billboard in addition to, improving the sign. Do you think that there will be enough property there for both of those?
I'm not sure. What I was thinking is above our Lindsay sign.
Right.
I like your idea of
the digital billboard.
The digital billboard.
Yeah. Maria, could you call up Google Earth,
above
please?
The Lindsay sign. Have you seen Selma's?
Yeah, exactly. Selma.
The
Selma. That's exactly.
So if we were to put that on top, and
Google Earth or maps with an aerial.
Thinking the electrical.
Right.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. Well, we could move the flagpole then to the south a little bit of the sign.
Give it its own identity.
Right. But, for sure. Yeah. And where
Mike, would you give her a hand with Google Maps or Earth?
TCAG possibly putting in their bus station. What? I mean, we talked about that 2 weeks ago about.
Well, when one of the ideas that Mike had was to put a transit stop where the existing Lindsay sign is. We were going to try to, look to see about its viability if the sign were there, and it really limits what you can do. And we try to be really careful about things that I'll call it sacred cows. You have to be careful about who built what and when it went in, and we just want to be sensitive to everybody's desires and needs with how that works. And so we looked at it. We were reluctant to do anything with the sign. We certainly didn't want to take it down, but we thought, in conjunction with the Highway 65 realignment, that land that you're talking about on the north side will get dedicated to the city. And so we would have control of that. We thought maybe we could move the sign to the north side, do a nice job there, and then that would allow all that space for a potential transit stop. So that was one idea we had. And then with the Dollar General project, it was, well, would we be better served to have a transit center nearer town so people would have a reason to go downtown and to pick it up there? And so that's why we were talking about that when they were considering dedicating about 50 feet of property along Hermosa and Elmwood there. Neither is set in concrete. They're ideas, and maybe that ties in well with your next point, Councilman Watson, about doing we call it here a workshop to talk about future projects, and so that council can share with staff kind of what your vision is and the sorts of things that you want to do. But we're going to pull up, as we get to it, we're going to pull up that intersection here so you can see how much space is there. Yes,
I'm not sure if you remember, Bill, when you and I had the conversation of putting a flag out there on the Lindsay sign because of the light that's already shining on there. And we mentioned it, we just didn't take it any further than what it was. So, I mean, the flag would be well served in that area too, where the sign is at.
As a city-funded project, I would not support it so much because of where we are with our deficit and also the perception with our residents, because we're going to need to address refuse soon, we're going to need to address water soon, and we've talked already about a sales tax measure. And so we want to be real cautious of how we do that. But as Councilman Watson said, if you have donations from the outside and it's promoted as such, then hopefully the residents will see that we're good stewards, you know, of what's going on. But we had talked about moving the sign, you can see it on your monitor now, from the south to the north if the Highway 65 realignment were to change. And that would be a great location because they'll be actually coming in from the west at that point, and then turning that triangle into a transit stop. Now, the current status is we don't know if or when that realignment is going to happen. The state's out of money, they put everything on hold. The environmental work is incomplete. So will it ever happen? And one of the things that we've talked about is I know there are many people in the community that would rather see the alignment stay right where it is there and perhaps employ a roundabout as opposed to, you know, traffic lights and such. And Caltrans is getting more and more comfortable with roundabouts. They just did a pretty substantial one out on Highway 190 where you can go out to the Reservation Road. And I think it's working pretty well for them. And of course, Farmersville, not a Caltrans project necessarily. So I think time is our friend here. As time goes by, they'll know the merits of it or the pitfalls of it and better determine what's going to happen with the realignment. But in truth, for planning these kinds of projects, we have to weigh all of those options. Is it going to realign? Is it not going to realign? What if it realigns? Can it still serve a purpose? We'd hate to spend money on something, the residents' money on something in particular, and then have to tear it out. We don't want to do that.
Right.
So that's why I think perhaps you can direct us and be happy to do it to get some numbers for you on what something like that would cost, so that you know then you have a tangible figure that you can use for wherever you decide that you want to put something like that, but also to talk about the different projects that you would want to see us pursue.
Yeah, I like the idea of the flag. I think it's a great idea. But for us, I mean, the Lindsay sign, I would always want to keep that.
Oh, for sure.
Whether we had to move it to the other side or not. But if we're going to move it, we can always move the flag too at the same time when Caltrans figures out what they're going to do.
Yeah. But I think that, you know, in looking at that corner, there's probably enough room for both. I mean, really, if realignment never happens, Caltrans, you know, says, no, we're not going to give you that strip there for whatever reason, you know, we could probably get that nice flagpole and the digital board and expansion of the sign all in that triangle. And you're right, you know, we don't have to tell or ask for anybody's permission.
Then the price of the cost of all the electrical getting to that flagpole otherwise, because it has to have light on it.
Oh yeah,
there's no way around it.
Yeah, yeah.
So instead of asking for $25,000 from the veterans and different people, you might, you know, we can do it for 10 or something.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's a good idea. Very good idea.
So would council like staff to research getting a flagpole flag, see what that's going to cost, the engineering and so forth? Is that the direction I'm hearing?
Yeah, and then let's just do it on that corner versus the property across the street.
Will do.
Okay, great. Thank you, Bill.
Then we'll know how much to go start knocking on doors for.
Exactly. We know what budget we're working on.
There's generous people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Bill. Got direction?
Yes,
okay.
I have it.
So item 9 is a discussion of setting workshops for future projects, presented by Bill. Bill?
I've had different council members come through with some pretty great ideas. And how do we have good ideas? We have lots of ideas. And the ideas are flowing, and we welcome that. But it's kind of time for council as a body to give staff direction, because I can't do everybody's ideas individually, nor should I. So it's time to gather you all and to see what direction you have for us. And with that, I'm going to kind of punt to Councilman Watson there, because you were the most recent one who wanted to do this, sir.
Yeah, not completely familiar with how that works, but whatever makes the most sense for the council members to have one of these this workshop, so we can start kind of prioritizing some of these ideas, sharing the ideas, and being able to, I think in large measure too, letting the residents know, hey, we're here to make a positive difference for this community. And here's some of the things we're talking about, and we would like your buy-in on it. So, whether we do this at a day separate than our regular meeting, or we do it at a regular meeting, I'm not sure of the formality of that.
Well, I'm assuming it would take place the same as we did the other workshops that we had before, right?
It'd be kind of nice if we could do that. You set a date. It can be in the evening, or it can be during the day. We open it to the public. Yes. We will notice it like a conventional meeting. We will create an agenda of the things that you'll be talking about, and it can be generalized so that you can explore some different ideas. And from that, then you'd be able to give staff some direction about the sorts of things you want to see us pursue.
Right. Hopefully we'll get a good input from community
members. From the public, yeah.
From the public.
So right now, then, if council's agreeable to having the workshop, it's about pulling out your calendars and seeing what works for you.
I would prefer evenings, only that if we were going to have the public be involved in that, I would think we would have a better turnout, hopefully, in the evening than during the day.
So maybe like an off Tuesday or a Thursday?
Like a meeting on Tuesday, and then Thursday would be the workshop?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, Mario.
Can I make a suggestion? Since we lucked out and she's here,
right,
and you're coming up on a change of the guard in a few months, I would just maybe get an input from Laura about when she's available, so you can ensure that she's there.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
Well, if we start.
No, just make sure that she's going to be there.
That's why I'm putting in.
I don't
make sure that she's there.
Just make sure that she'll have availability to be there. Yeah, don't let that slow you down at all.
No, we want everybody to be here, but we want Laura to be here also, for sure. Because it is changing the guard at that point, and we want to move forward with everybody having their input in it.
Yeah, and especially if
it's not going to happen, right away.
Yeah,
whatever we're going to do.
You may have goals that are maybe they're 3-2 votes that this is a goal of council. And, you do that, and we do this in November, and then in January, it's a new goal, right? We're not focused on that goal anymore. So it's nice just to know what that input would be.
Absolutely. Yeah. And more input.
Okay.
So, options could be, you could pick a Tuesday where you're not having a council meeting. An option would be you could pick any Thursday that you want. I know some folks have church activities on Wednesdays, and Mondays and Fridays are usually pretty hard unless you do something during the day. And of course, we're not in a hurry because we have plenty to do, but it's as important, or it'll happen on whatever schedule that council wants to make this happen. But I think Mario is very wise in that, be cognizant of you're about to have a change here, and the last thing you want to have is a 3-2 vote on something and start putting time and energy and worse, money into something to go in a whole new direction. So I think Laura's participation is crucial.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Well, and given the fact that, the holidays are just right around the corner, and, we probably should consider that as well.
January would be awesome. I'm just saying, it would be.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's, yeah. Well, what do you think about just holding off till after the holidays? And having
I don't mean to put you off. I think it's a practical consideration.
Oh wait, can I be there?
Of course. That's public. That's what I mean. You'll be public at that point.
Yeah.
I thought there was a certain amount of time that I wasn't able to.
You can input anytime.
You're not allowed to lobby for
You can
other
input-
people.
you can
But
input.
you're always a citizen.
Oh, okay, well, she'll
You
be
can,
there
you
then.
can always show up and give your opinion.
She'll be there then, okay.
Is January okay, folks?
January
And I'll
is
put it on
what
my
was the
calendar, and I'll
suggested-
remind you as we
the
get closer to
Right.
pick a
suggested
date.
month.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, thank you. I have an announcement to make before we adjourn the meeting today, and I apologize for the abruptness of this statement, but I wanted to let everyone know today that today will be my last day as mayor for the city of Lindsay. I have a project that has come and fallen into my lap where it requires my full attention in order for me to accomplish this. So today I wanted to let everybody know that I will not be on council, and I wanted to say what a great experience this has been for me. I've been here 6 years, and there's been really hard times and there's been really good times, and I wouldn't trade this experience for the world. And I wanted to thank my supporters that have been around me all this time, thank my family and my friends, and today will be my last day. So effective immediately, I will step down and finishing my term as the 2 years, and then now as being a private citizen from then on. But I feel really comfortable with the way the city is running now. We have some very dedicated and staff. So Bill, I want you to know that I feel really good leaving the city and in good hands with your leadership and your amazing staff to really keep on going. I think that what we've haven't had in a long time is some continuity, but it is here now. And I'd like to thank, I know that with Councilman Watson has been such a short time that I've served with him, but I am very thankful for serving with you for this time. With Councilman Salinas, same thing. I've been around him 6 years already as council as well. And with Mayor Pro Tem Sanchez for the last 4 years.
You said two things. You said you were going to finish out your term, and then
Well,
you said you're stepping
my
down
term
tonight.
is over in November, but I'm done today. Yes. And so with that, thank you again for participating. Never give up of coming to council meetings. Tell your friends, your family members to come and support our city. And every time in my city meeting, I always say, take care of yourselves in order to take care of others. And I'll continue to stress that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Oh, is there a motion to adjourn meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Last time I hit the gavel, right?